Vauxhall's Corsa Electric is our market's best-selling small EV, but it needed a bit more technology and a more fashionable vibe, both of which the Griffin brand claims to have brought us with this mid-term update, which gives a sharper feel inside and out, plus an extra longer range powertrain option.
Supermini-sized full electric cars haven't generally been very credible to date, with one or two notable exceptions. But times are changing. Pretty soon, most volume brand manufacturers are going to be offering little EVs with the kind of driving range you once had to pay luxury money for. Vauxhall has found itself in the vanguard of this change, courtesy of Peugeot E208-derived, borrowed Stellantis Group technology. That was what first brought us an electric Corsa back in 2020, then badged the Corsa-e. Vauxhall changed the name to Corsa Electric in 2022 and improved the driving range. Then in mid-2023 brought us the much improved, facelifted design we're looking at here, which gets a sharper design, a smarter, more digitalised interior, plus an extra powertrain option. So let's take a closer look. In its original form, this electric Corsa offered a 50 kilowatt-hour battery powering a 136 PS electric motor. And that powertrain combination continues in this updated model, offering 221 miles of range. But Corsa Electric customers can also now choose a more sophisticated 51 kilowatt-hour battery paired with a more powerful 156 PS motor. This setup boosting EV range to 248 miles. Either way, expect moderately rapid performance with 62 miles an hour dispatched in under 9 seconds. There's the usual single-speed auto transmission you get with EVs, and like all electric vehicles, this one develops all its torque at once and simply hurls itself away from rest. The 30 mile an hour mark is reached in just 2.1 seconds, and 60 is crested in only 7.6 seconds. Disguising the fact that also, like all EVs, this zero emissions variant has a bit of a weight problem. That drivetrain adds over 300 kilograms of bulk. That extra weight arguably helps the Corsa Electric though when it comes to ride quality. You'll feel things like speed humps keenly, but at speed on the open road it handles tarmac tears a little better than its combustion cousins. Of course, you certainly won't achieve anything like the range figures we've quoted if you get anywhere near this EV's quoted 93 mile an hour top speed. Or if you habitually click out of the mid-level normal drive setting and use your Corsa Electric in the sport mode that'll be necessary to release the full 136 PS power output just mentioned. Remember too that the quoted range figures require engagement of a somewhat restrictive eco mode that with the 136 PS version drops power output right down to 83 PS. There's no option to vary regenerative braking other than by selecting B rather than D with the little gear selector. That slows the car quite noticeably, but you'll still need to use the brake pedal. Visually, this electric Corsa is virtually identical to the combustion engine version, which means that, like the petrol variant, this updated Corsa Electric now gets the brand's distinctive visor-style front grille, a single solid black panel with a restyled Griffin badge. That panel's flanked by slightly more squared-off slimline LED headlights, which on top variants like this one feature the brand's IntelliLux matrix pixel tech. That the dimensions here almost exactly replicate those of a Peugeot E208 is hardly a surprise given the CMP platform that both cars share and the extent to which Vauxhall had to draw from the engineering of its French Stellantis Group partner during this Corsa F design's rather rushed period of development between 2017 and 2019. The resemblance is particularly noticeable here at the side, which as before is characterised by a swept-back roofline, a pronounced mid-level crease above the door handles, and in usual Vauxhall fashion, a lower swage line flowing upwards towards the rear wheel arch in a blade-like formation. Avoid entry-level trim and you get this contrast-coloured black roof and a wheel upgrade from 16-inch alloys to the 17-inch rims that feature here. The rear isn't much different, though if you owned an early Corsa-e, you might notice the fact that instead of a Corsa badge, the model name is now spelled in spaced-out lettering across the tailgate, as is the current trend. There are minor changes to the tail lamps as well, which will be LED illuminated, provided you avoid entry-level trim. And these lower corner cutouts add a bit of visual interest, and this smart roof spoiler offers a neat finishing touch. As before, it all sits on Peugeot 208 underpinnings, which means the Stellantis Group CMP, or Common Modular Platform, and body panels fashioned from a range of high-strength steels. So, subtle but effective changes outside. Will the same be true in the cabin? Well, pretty much, yes. The key difference is this new 10-inch Qualcomm Snapdragon centre touchscreen. But there are other differences too, like a redesigned steering wheel, smarter upholstery options, and these revised sports seats. As before, the pedal box is a bit tighter than we'd ideally like, but generally it's all ergonomically very sound. Design chief Mark Adams and his team having used what they call functional partitioning to split up certain areas. Build quality doesn't match the higher standards in this class, but ergonomically there's not much to fault. The seats are supportive, nothing's irritatingly awkward to get to, and everything's exactly where you expect it to be. Even the climate functions are properly separated out into controls at the bottom of the centre stack, unlike in this model's close cousin, the Peugeot E208. All variants get this 7-inch digital instrument screen. We mentioned the improved centre screen. Well, its functions can display in little boxes, or if you swipe to the left, in customisable widgets. We've got a GPS map and the energy flow monitor here, the latter part of an EV section that also allows you to set charging times and monitor energy consumption. This screen also has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and even provides games like Hangman 2048 and Tic-Tac-Toe that you can play while you're waiting for the car to charge, if you're stuck in it at a public charging point. As for practicalities, well, our testers had mixed feelings here. As with so many French-derived cars, the glove box is halved in size by an awkwardly shaped fuse box. You get the usual connectivity ports in a deep well in front of the gear stick, along with a 12-volt and a USB socket, plus space for a wireless charging mat, but it can't all be shut away with a cover, so you'll need to leave your smartphone powering up in front of prying eyes. An overhead sunglasses compartment has been overlooked, but on the plus side, the door pockets are of a reasonable size and incorporate angled bottle holders. Plus, you get ticket clips in the sun visors, while twin cup holders and a storage tray sit by the conventional handbrake. You get this open cubby by the driver's right knee. There's another small cubby in the door pull, and if you avoid base trim, you get this centre armrest with its tiny lidded storage area. Right, time to take a look at the rear seat. Now, the door opening aperture isn't very wide, and because the EV powertrain's battery pack must sit beneath this rear bench, you'd expect space in the rear to be somewhat compromised. Which indeed it is. There's not much room for legs, knees or heads, and larger adults certainly wouldn't want to be spending too long here. Plus, there's a much higher centre transmission tunnel than you'd think an EV would need to have. But does any of that matter, given that for the majority of buyers, these rear seats will be used only occasionally for those above school age? Well, only you can decide. It helps that the designers have done the best with what they had to work with. The curvature of the front seat backs is designed to improve knee room, and there's lots of room to poke your feet beneath those front chairs. Finally, let's take a look in the boot, which is 309 litres in size, the same as the combustion version and pretty much the same as an E208. It's quite a usable, squarically sized space with 885mm of length and 867mm of width. Folding the straightforward 60/40 split rear bench reveals 1,118 litres of capacity when you load to the roof. For this Corsa Electric, as with the combustion model, there are 3 mainstream trim levels: Design, GS, or as in this case, Ultimate. And you'll be paying in the £32,500 to the £38,500 bracket. With Design trim, you can only have the old 136 PS powertrain. With the 2 top trim levels, there's the option of finding around £1,400 more for the new 156 PS long-range powertrain. Got that? Good. It's worth referencing the fact that these days Vauxhall can also sell you a hybrid-powered Corsa, which in town at least can run much of the time on electrical energy, and that variant's much cheaper. The eDCT6 hybrid model in question, which is auto only, starts from around £23,000 in 100 PS form and sells across the same 3 trim levels. The pricing I've just given you for this Corsa Electric is much the same as you'll pay for its identically engineered cousin, the Peugeot E208. Arguably, both make more sense as EVs than another key zero-emission small car rival at this price point, the Mini Electric. That Mini's priced at about the same level as his Vauxhall, but has a much lower operating range in base 40.7 kilowatt-hour form, a 3-door only body style and a tiny boot. Plus, it would probably cost around £3,000 more when equipped to a similar standard. There aren't really any other direct all-electric small hatch options. A battery-powered family hatch like a Kia Niro EV or a Hyundai Kona Electric would cost from around £35,000, but both of those are slightly larger cars. If, having considered all of that, and you've got your Vauxhall salesperson to sharpen their pencil a bit, and you decide that it is a Corsa you really want, then you're going to need to know about standard specs. So let's take a look at that now. Even entry-level Design variants come pretty well equipped with LED headlights featuring high beam assist, 16-inch diamond-cut high-gloss black alloy wheels, LED headlights with high beam assist, auto headlamps and wipers, and a reasonable tally of camera safety kit, which we'll get to in a moment. Inside, in a Design spec variant, there's air conditioning, a flat-bottomed leather effect stitched steering wheel, a 7-inch digital colour instrument screen and cruise control with an intelligent speed limiter that adjusts itself to prevailing limits. So, in theory, you should never be zapped by a speed camera. Infotainment's taken care of by a 10-inch colour touchscreen featuring Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone mirroring, Bluetooth and a decent quality 6-speaker DAB audio system. Most Corsa Electric customers, though, will want to stretch at least as far as mid-range GS trim. These variants are recognisable by the black contrast colouring used for the roof and A-pillars, plus a range of extra touches: dark-tinted rear windows, a rear roof spoiler, high-gloss black B-pillars, a black grille Griffin logo and LED tail lamps. Plus, there are larger 17-inch black wheels with grey inserts, and all-round parking sensors are added at this level too. Inside, in a GS spec model, you'll find the cabin marked out by the addition of alloy effect pedals and a black headliner. Plus, you get electronic climate control, and the centre screen gains a panoramic rear view camera and wireless connection for the phone mirroring systems. If you're wanting to spoil yourself a little in your choice of Corsa Electric, well, your dealer will point you towards the plush Ultimate model that we have here. This also gets the contrast-coloured black roof, but is distinguishable to the eagle-eyed from the GS variant by different badging, bespoke door sill plates, and, more significantly, by the brand's IntelliLux LED matrix headlights that constantly adapt themselves to road conditions and surrounding traffic. At this top level in the range, as you'd expect, you get navigation, plus keyless entry, heat for the front seats and steering wheel, part Alcantara upholstery, a centre front armrest that includes storage, a wireless phone charger, plus a driver's seat with massaging and lumbar support. In addition, there's some extra camera safety features, which I'll cover off for you in a moment. It's worth pointing out that all Corsa Electric models come with the Vauxhall Connect package that gives you quite a lot. First and foremost, there's an e-remote control system that allows you to program charging times and precondition the cabin temperature while the car is still charging. As with a combustion Corsa, there's also an e-call system that, at the press of a button, 24/7, 365 days a year, will put you in touch with a trained advisor in the event of an emergency or breakdown, and it'll automatically alert the emergency services should the airbags go off in an accident. Using a downloadable My Vauxhall app, Vauxhall Connect will also give you access to live navigation services, so you can plan a route in advance on your computer, then forward it to your car, saving a lot of faffing around when you get in at the start of your journey. There's also regular vehicle diagnostic information, plus the app will allow you to lock or unlock your car via your phone from wherever you are in the world. It can even let you or someone you nominate access and start the car using a smartphone. We'll finish with a look at safety. Now, you'd expect a modern Super Mini these days to come with some sort of autonomous braking system fitted as standard across the range, and this Corsa doesn't disappoint. The automatic emergency city braking active safety brake system is standard fit, working in conjunction with a standard forward collision alert setup. It works at speeds between 3 and 53 miles per hour as you drive, scanning the road ahead in search of potential collision hazards. If one is detected, you'll be warned, and if you don't respond or aren't able to, then at speeds of below 19 miles an hour, your Corsa will autonomously brake itself to a complete stop with 0.9 Gs of braking, avoiding the obstacle. At speeds of between 19 and 53 miles an hour, speed will be reduced by up to 14 miles an hour. The system can specifically identify vehicles, pedestrians, bicycles and motorbikes. Other standard safety features include lane departure warning with lane keep assist, which alerts you if you drift out of your lane and applies subtle corrective lock to steer you back to where you ought to be. Like automatic emergency city braking, we found that this feature works smoothly and unobtrusively, with a refreshing lack of too many jerks, beeps and bongs. What else is standard in terms of safety camera kit? Well, there's a driver's attention warning, driver drowsiness system, which monitors your driving reactions for drowsiness, which, if detected, will prompt a warning to stop for a restorative coffee. And it'll automatically warn you to take a break if you've been driving for more than a couple of hours at speeds of above 40 miles an hour. There's also speed sign recognition, which pictures speed signs as you pass, then displays them on the dash, which is what drives the intelligent speed limiter we mentioned earlier. Now, despite all of that, this Mark V Corsa wasn't able to achieve a full 5-star showing in Euro NCAP safety tests. Apparently, poor whiplash protection for rear seat passengers brought the score down to 4 stars out of 5. Nevertheless, NCAP scores of 84 and 86% respectively for adult and child occupant protection are well up to the class standard. More usual safety inclusions that of course feature here include ISOFIX child seat fastenings on the outer rear seats, a tyre pressure monitoring system, hill start assist to stop you from drifting backwards on uphill junctions, and twin front, side and curtain airbags, though unfortunately there's no driver's knee airbag. Plus, of course, all the usual electronic assistance for stability and traction control. There's cornering brake control for extra stability through the turns, and a drag torque control feature that stops destabilisation of the car that would otherwise occur if you were to suddenly lift off the throttle or change down to too low a gear on a slippery road. As we mentioned earlier, you've also got a welcome dose of standard headlamp technology across the range. The extra reach of full LED beams and standard high beam assist that'll automatically dip your headlights for you at night. If you want more in terms of safety kit, then you'll need to opt for one of the plusher variants. The GS model adds side blind spot alert, which warns you if you're about to dangerously pull out into the path of an oncoming vehicle. And this top ultimate variant includes extended traffic sign recognition coverage. The Stellantis Group hasn't yet strayed into offering any kind of semi-autonomous driving tech on this class of car in the way that, say, top versions of the rival Renault Clio do. Adaptive cruise control with a lane positioning assistant is the closest this Corsa gets in that regard, fitted to this top ultimate version. If you're a Corsa Electric owner, you'll need to know that getting anywhere near the quoted WLTP rated range readings will necessitate staying in the powertrain's provided eco mode. Activating its sport setting will reduce your range by at least around 10%. We gave you the range figures in our driving section: 221 miles for the 50 kilowatt hour model and 248 miles for the 51 kilowatt hour version. The centre screen's energy monitor helps you see how the power is being deployed as you drive, and this monitor also provides a statistics section which shows you your miles per kilowatt hour energy consumption over the last 30, 60 or 180 minutes. What about charging times? Well, all the latest Corsa electric models come as standard with an 11 kilowatt onboard charger, allowing for a 0 to 100% AC 3-phase charge to be completed in 5 hours and 15 minutes, or 3 hours and 20 from 15 to 80%. The same full charge using a more typical 7 kilowatt home wallbox is estimated to take 7 hours and 30 minutes. Supporting 100 kilowatt rapid charging, a typical 0 to 80% DC public charge will take just 30 minutes. At the other extreme, it'll be a yawning 21 hours and 45 minutes from a domestic socket. All the charge times remain the same regardless of battery choice, and you can of course set charging using the My Vauxhall app or the appropriate section of the centre screen. Enough on charging, what else might you need to know here? Well, as expected with an EV, a Corsa electric driver will theoretically enjoy lower maintenance costs than would be needed for a combustion model. Obviously, no oil changes are required, and regenerative braking means that the brake pads are designed to last the life of the car. Insurance is Group 27 or 28, and as usual with any EV, until 2025 you'll be free of VED car tax payments, you'll pay benefit in kind tax at a low 2%, and you'll be free of congestion and ULEZ charges in London. Depreciation though, as is often the case with EVs, is quite heavy. This car is expected to retain only around 38% of its values over 3 years and 36,000 miles. Finally, you'll also need to know about warranties. In a class where Hyundai and Toyota offer standard 5-year warranties and Kia offers a 7-year package, Vauxhall, like most of its other rivals, persists with the usual 3-year, 60,000 mile package, which can be extended up to 5 years and 100,000 miles at extra cost. A year's free breakdown cover is also provided, along with a 6-year anti-corrosion guarantee. We're still at the stage at which you have to be pretty sold on the EV concept to choose a car like this. Vauxhall says its goal is to reach a stage where the overall full life cost of a Corsa Electric, taking into account purchase price or leasing costs, plus charging fees, is approximately the same as what you'd pay to run a well-specified petrol automatic variant. Well, we're some way off at that at present, but it will happen sooner or later. For the time being, this Corsa Electric is pretty much state-of-the-art in terms of full electric small cars, especially in this improved form. Yes, you can get the same technology in a Peugeot E208 or a DS3 E-Tense. And yes, other compact EVs will take you a little further on a single charge, but this Vauxhall will reach a wider audience than any of the models just mentioned. It will continue to play a key part in democratising the idea of a Supermini EV. And that makes it a very important car indeed.